Hello, this is Jill from Paper Daisy Crafting. Thank you for joining me today. This is number, I always forget to look and see what number it is. I think we might be up to number 24 of my Card Making a Beginner's Course 2021. Started this way back in the middle of this year. And today we're going to do some quite simple watercolour washing in a little circle pattern. I love this effect, and it's very simple to do. I'm going to be using one of our watercolour brushes. So they have a barrel which you just fill with water, and then the tip is always wet and you can squeeze and get more water down if you need it. And they're very easy to use and very effective. They come in a pack of 3. This is the medium tip one that I'm using there. There are 2 others. If you wanted to do a whole wash across the background, you could use this one, which is a big flat brush, which would be great. I haven't actually used that one yet. And I've got to try and get it back in. And then this one, which is a very fine tip, so if you want to get some fine details. Oops, I'm unscrewing that. There we go. Get some very fine details. You can use that one. So they're a bargain, $11.25 for 3, and they last forever. I had a set, the old set of aqua painters, and they last me. I used them a lot, and they lasted me forever. Anyway, here we go. So what we're going to do, we're going to make this card. I actually made a version of this for my friend Jez for her birthday, the beginning of last month. And it was my attempt to do a clean and simple sort of more messy card than I normally do, but a sort of scrappy chic. No, what is it? Shabby chic is what I want to say. Jez didn't even realise that was what I was attempting, but this is a bit outside my comfort zone, my style, but actually I quite liked it, and I love the idea of doing these painted circles. So I'm going to show you what I did. So first of all, today we're going to work in pink. So on this one I worked in greens and blues. I'm trying to remember the colours I had. That was Soft Sea Foam, Just Jade, Balmy Blue, and I think Pool Party. And I'm just trying to work out what that green might have been. I'm not sure what that was. It might have been Mossy Meadow, actually. Like Mossy Meadow, or not sure. I'll have to look back in my notes and find out what colour I used. But today I'm going to do it in pinks. So I'm going to use, you can see I've still got a lot of old style stamp pads. So I'm going to use Flirty Flamingo, Blushing Bride, Rich Raspberry, and Rococo Rose. We're going to do a range of pinks today. I did Jez's in purples, of course, because that's my favourite colour. So first of all, I'm going to have my background this time. So on here, it was Coastal Cabana. On this one, I'm going to use Rococo Rose. Haven't used that colour for a while. And I'm going to be painting onto our shimmery white cardstock. I don't think I'll be able to catch the light for you to see the shimmer, but it has got a very subtle shimmer on it, and it's lovely for painting on. Really lovely surface. If you try and do this on our Whisper White, you may find that the card peels up a bit and that you don't get a good finish. So you could either use the watercolour paper or you can use our shimmery white cardstock. So I want to cut this so that we've got a border all the way around there. Now I know that my card blank measures 10.5 by 14.5. So I am going to cut at 9/8. Hope this is going to be right. By 13/8. This is in centimetres. So I'm just cutting down, so there'll be a border, I hope, of about 3.5 millimetres all the way around my panel. And I've cut that wrong. What did I do wrong there? I must have cut it a centimetre too small. 13.5? No, because it was 40. Was it not 40? Have I got the wrong one here? Ah, that's because I've got the wrong card blank. Cut the wrong piece of card. Right, I'm going to cut this down then. I cut my sheet into half, and I did one 14.5 and one that was slightly bigger. That's better. There we go. Right, okay. There we go. No mistakes in crafting, remember. Just a chance to innovate. one of my team members sent me a little plaque he'd made with that on the other day, which was so sweet. I'm going to show you that at one stage. Really lovely. Right, so here we go. So we've got that. Right, now I'm going to measure. So I'm just going to put my card blank to one side. And I'm going to measure so that I've got a couple of little marks on my paper. Because I want this to be completely symmetrical. I don't want it to be all over the place. So there's my centre mark. And then halfway down is 7, because I've now cut this down to about 14, slightly less than 14 here, so it's actually 13.8. So there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in, I was going to show you in the catalogue actually, the brushes. They're easy to miss actually. They're here on page 146 of the catalogue, and they are here, Water Painters, number 11. So they're 151298 if you wanted to order them. Right, okay, now I've got the smallest die from the circle layering dies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my mark in the middle and make sure that I'm fairly equidistant from the middle mark. So this, from here and here is the same distance, and from here to here is the same distance. And I'm going to draw around the outside of my die. So I'm just using this as a template. All these marks are going to be rubbed out afterwards. I'm then going to come down and I'm going to put another one here. Once you've watercoloured, these will all rub out. So you don't need to worry about having pencil marks. Just need to let it dry, the paint dry, the ink dry, and then you can rub these pencil marks out as long as you've used a fairly soft pencil. As you know, I use these Bic pencils all the time. And I love them. There we go. And one more at the top here. And then you've got 6 circles that are in the right place. You could do it by eye. You don't need to draw these circles. I know what would happen if I tried to do it by eye. It wouldn't look very even, and they wouldn't all be the same size. Right, so let's put that out of the way. Right, now what we're going to do is we're going to take one of our colours. So I'm going to start with Flirty Flamingo, I think. And I'm going to open my stamp pad. And I'm going to take an A block. And I'm just going to press my block into the ink so that it inks up on there. And then I'm going to take my aqua painter, my water painter, pick up some of that ink and then just colour in this circle. And you'll get a very uneven effect, which is what we're going for. You don't want and I'm going over the edges as well, because I don't want this to be an absolute circle. I want it to look abstract, even though I've been quite careful about positioning it. I want it to look abstract. And there we go, that's one of them done. And then you might just want to come in with a little bit of kitchen roll or tissue and just clean your brush off. So until it comes clean, and you'll see it doesn't stain at all that colour will come off. And then you can use the same tissue just to clean your block. It was quite wet, that one. You could also use your chamois to clean it if you wanted to. You will end up with quite a lot of ink on your chamois if you do that though. Right, okay, what should we do next? Blushing Bride we'll do next. And we'll do that one. So we're going to press in the middle of this is quite a light colour. So don't know how well this is going to come out, but it's always an experiment. I can already rub out that middle mark and that one. Don't need that one. So it's just the circles to rub out now when we're done. So I've had lots of messages from people about my beginner series. It seems to have touched a lot of people's interests, and a lot of people telling me that they're enjoying the videos. If there's anything you'd like to see me demonstrate, anything in particular that you've heard about, let me know. I'm always looking for ideas to include. There we go. And then this card, I suppose I'm aiming at people that have been with me since the beginning of the beginner series, so have now got a few skills of their own. It's not the simplest of cards to start with if you are an absolute beginner, so maybe go back and start with some of the easier videos that I've done. Right, I'm going to do 2 Rococo Roses. What am I going to do? I'm going to do one up in the corner there. And you can see with some of the inks you get a really strong effect when you first put the ink down, but it doesn't matter at all. I'm looking for that uneven, like I say, I'm looking for that uneven effect, and I can just add some more water if I need to by squeezing. Water the ink down a little bit. So I'm not at all worried about the fact that that looks really dark in some places and really light in others. I'm going to press it in again. I know it's got a little bit of water on it, but that won't do any harm. And then I'm going to do another one in this colour down here. Seems to be absorbing into the paper a lot more than the other colours, this colour. Something to do with the pigmentation in it, I guess. There we are. Right, that's all our Rococo Rose. And then just bring your tissue in and clean that off. And then we're going to do Rich Raspberry. So this one is a much stronger, darker colour, so I may need to water this down quite a bit. So I'm going to squeeze and get a drop of water on there. So I don't want this to be too vivid compared to the other ones. Look, you can see if I hadn't watered that down, that would be very strong. There we go. And this one. And there we are. And okay, right, that's all done. So put my stamp pad away. Wipe my clear block. And I'm just going to let that dry for a little minute while we do something else. And then I'll come back to it. I just want to let the paint dry. So you can see that stained my brush a bit. That's the Rich Raspberry, which always does tend to stain. But if you just squeeze out some water, some clean water from the reservoir, you can see it's becoming much, much cleaner. And there, no colour anymore on there. So it's I don't know what it's made of, some sort of nylon, I guess, some synthetic, but it doesn't stain at all. You can get the colour out of it really easily. So if you're looking for a little top up, or if you're looking for a crafty gift for somebody for Christmas, they'd be fab. They don't even have to be Stampin' Up addicts, so anyone who's crafty would find those really helpful, I think, really nice. Right, okay, so what we're going to do while we wait for our paper to dry, oh, those pinks are looking quite good, aren't they? Quite like those. We're going to use our card blank and we're going to do the inside. So I want a panel to go inside. So again, I need to trim this down. So I'm going to trim it to 9.5. So I want a bit bigger border around the one inside than I had outside. So 9.5. Remember, my blank is 10.5 by 14.5. So I'm doing 9.5 by 13.5, and that'll give me a 0.5 centimetre border all the way round. And that is going to glue inside my card. So, oh, I've got my Tombow out. There we go. And then I'm just going to stamp. Usually have this standing on its end so the glue's in the right place when I start videoing. Forgot to do that today. There we go. We have a very quiet house at the moment. My son moved out at the end of October, and my daughter, who was theoretically still living here, but had been staying with her boyfriend's parents for the whole of lockdown and most of the time since. But actually she's officially moved out as well now. They've both moved in with their respective partners. So I've got 3 children scattered around the southeast of England. One in Hove, which is my oldest daughter, who lives with her fiance and was supposed to be getting married this year. And then my son, who's my middle one, who is living in Southend now, right on the east coast. And then my daughter, my youngest daughter, Annie, who is living in Harpenden in Hertfordshire. So just outside London, sort of just north of London for those people who don't know the UK very well. So they're all scattered around a bit, but they're all within an easy drive for a day, so I can go and visit them when all the restrictions are relieved. And we will be able to see quite a lot of them, so that'll be lovely. But I won't be able to seeing any of them over Christmas. I'm so sad. They've made the decision that they're in occupations where they're exposed to COVID quite a lot of the time, and they don't want the risk of bringing it home to me because I'm classed as clinically vulnerable. So Jeff and I, my husband and I, will be having Christmas on our own this year. Right, okay, so what did I do? I took my memento pad, rambling away, not telling you what I'm making. Rambling away there. So this is the butterfly from Positive Thoughts. It's a really lovely, realistic looking butterfly. I've just stamped that on the inside panel. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted now because my husband had broken down and I'm waiting for a call from him to go and pick him up, and the door's just gone, so I think he must have found a way to get his car started because he's obviously home. Never a dull moment when I'm filming. Right, okay, so I've now finished this. I'm going to rub out my pencil marks like so. Was rushing to get this video done so I could leave the house and go and pick him up, and now I think he's managed to find his own way home. Maybe one of his friends has given him a lift, I don't know. He's been out on a mammoth cycle ride today. He's very fit for a 65-year-old, my husband, and puts me to shame really. Whereas my occupations are very sedentary, sitting in my craft room all day. His occupations are all very active, so he's very fit. There. So the lines will rub out quite easily. I've got just an ordinary white, I think this is Stapler rubber, but I also use the ends of my Bic pencils. They will rub out very well as well. Just might take a little bit of effort. Make sure you don't miss any because it will spoil your card if you've got signs of pencil. You might decide that you don't want to do a pencil line. You could actually make them a lot lighter pencil lines than mine as well. I did them quite dark today because I wanted you on camera to be able to see them. There we go. And then just this one. The other thing you could do is you could just colour in just inside the lines, so it would make it a bit easier to rub them out as well. I do like these pinks though. I haven't made a pink card for ages. Guess we'll be making a lot of pink once we get past Christmas because we'll be doing Valentine's. Well, no sooner is one event finished than we'll be on to the next. Right, there we go. So now all we've got to do now is stamp with a butterfly in each of those circles. So as you can see, I just turned it round slightly each time I did it. So I'm going to do that one like so, and that one there, and another one round that way. And this gives a lovely image, this stamp. It really is a lovely stamp. This is a lovely set actually, the Positive Thoughts. You might not have looked at it. It's one that's easy to miss in the catalogue, and it's not really my style, but I have loved using it. It's quite good to push yourself out of your style sometimes. There we go. Right, okay, so we've got our panel. Put the lid on that. And again, that's going to mount on there. Oh, isn't that nice? So what do you want? Which one you prefer? Quite liking these colour schemes. I was going to do yellow and orange actually. I might do that one after. Might do a yellowy orange one. And then I suppose you could do rainbow colours as well. Oh, so many ideas, so little time. And there we go. And then to put the sentiment on, right, So the wiggle room is really important here because I didn't get that on straight, but because I was using Tombow and not a more immediately permanent ink glue, that was able to be wiggled into place. So I'll just go around to my bone folder, make sure all those edges are really glued down. Right, there we go. Right, so to make this, I haven't got any of the things that I need here, so just give me 1 minute. I'm just going to grab my embossing powder. Ta-da! And a little bit of black card. There we go. Right, what sentiment should we have today? I'm still going to be using blossoms in. Oh no, actually, I'm going to use. I'm going to use a little note from the Butterfly Gala. I love this sentiment. Really useful. A little note. This is in the butterfly. So these aren't the butterflies. You could use these butterflies, I guess. A little note from that set. Yeah, if you want to make this card and you only want to buy one set, then the Butterfly Gala, you get more butterflies. If you really like butterflies, that would be good value. Right, so I'm just going to mount that onto my clear block, along with, I've got my Versamark pad here. Let's just clear all this rubbish out of the way. Versamark pad here, and my embossing buddy. Again, we don't sell these anymore. They just stop the static and for the powder sticking to sticky fingerprints. But they do sell them on Amazon. I've seen them. I think Woodware is the make, and they're about £5, 3 or 4, £5, something like that. Certainly no more than £5. And then just stamp that there. And just get some embossing powder on there. That's better. There we go. And then just heat that up. This seems to be my favoured way of doing messengers at the moment. I seem to be doing a lot of white embossing onto dark colours, which I quite like actually. I'm just letting my gun heat up a little bit here before I aim it at the powder, because what happens while it's heating up, it can actually blow the powder off if it's not warm. So move it a little bit so you can see what's happening. Can you see it turning? Oh, it's a little crafting miracle, this. I love it. There we go. And then we need to cut this down. So you could do it by hand. I'm going to cut a little bit off, and this trimmer is lovely for doing little bits because it's got the edges up here that you can press against to keep it straight, which not all trimmers have. So this is really good. Just don't want to move it as I pull it up. Right, okay, so I'm going to trim along there, and then I'm going to turn it round and trim the other way as well. Can't get my fingers out of the way. That's it. That's not quite close enough. This would be easier with my little trimmer, but I'm a bit hesitant about using my little trimmer too much on these videos because they're not available to buy anymore. And I think it's a bit of a shame for you people if you see me using something and you think, oh, I'd really like that, and then you can't get hold of it. It's a bit upsetting. That's a bit too close. Right, so this is a bit fiddly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that off there. I know what I'm going to do. Another chance to innovate here. So I'm going to use a post-it note to position that. Then I've got a bit more leverage. Right, that's better. So what I can do is I can get this into position here. That's fine because I've got the post-it note. That's, oh, why didn't I think of that before? That was much easier. Right, okay, and then I just cut, just put this out of the way, and I just cut it at a slant. You could do fishtails, you could do what you like here, but I just cut it at a slant just to give it a little bit of interest. And then, just looking for my card, that goes on there. I'm going to trim off a little bit of it at this end and just take some dimensionals. And, oops. Oh, my stomach is rumbling. Must be lunchtime. There we go. And just got some little bits here that I'm just using up actually. I tend to cut up my dimensionals so that you don't waste any. Sometimes you don't need a big dimensional, so I cut them up and use little slivers of them. I'm so mean. I'm such a thrifty crafter. I don't really like spending money on things like dimensionals and all the boring stuff, because I like spending money on lovely shiny new dies and stamps and pretty colours and things. Right, there we go. And that is going to go butt up against there and there. And that's my card made. What do you think? I quite like those. I didn't think I was going to like the pinks, but I do. I actually quite like that. This goes to show you should push yourself out of your comfort zone. I'm not really a very pink card girl, but actually I really like that. So I hope you've enjoyed watching. Don't forget that today we have our year-end closeout sale starting, and there are loads of Christmas products that are at bargain prices that are offered at a discount. Some of them aren't, but they will all be retired. All the ones on the list will be retiring, so you won't be able to get hold of them anymore. So nip down to my shop and then click on the year-end closeout sale, and you'll be able to see all the things that are there with the discounts, the ones that are discounted. Well, some are half price, which is a real bargain. Do you remember the cards that I made a couple of weeks ago? I've only got one left now, but I made these cards using the Christmas gleaming papers. That paper is now half price, so it's £7 a pack instead of 14. There are lovely designs in there, so do have a look at that. Might be worth a look. The other thing that is in the sale is, I'm just going to show you, I'm so excited, is our Christmas countdown kit. This one, this advent calendar. I know it's too late for this year now. I'm trying to find the page, but you get everything you need to make the advent calendar like that. But I've seen so many other versions. You can use different papers. Doesn't have to be advent. It could be a birthday countdown or a celebration countdown. As you can see, they've used different papers here as well. Absolutely lovely. And you get it, it's ready built, really solid, with these 25 drawers in it. Really lovely. And it's half price. Instead of £28, it's now 14. It won't hang around for long. I know that's going to sell out. So if you'd like one, get in quick. Anyway, that's it from me today. I hope you have a lovely day. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now. Bye.